Welcome back to the channel, Top Coin, Coin Lovers, and Treasure Hunters. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story of one of America's most iconic pieces of change, the 1967 United States $quarter coin. You might be surprised to learn that this everyday-looking coin in your drawer or pocket could actually be worth more than just 25 cents. In fact, it might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if you know what to look for. So grab your coin collection, sit back, and stay tuned until the end because you do not want to miss the secret behind its true value and what collectors are paying for it right now in 2025. Let's go back in time to the year 1967. It was a time of great social change and political transformation in the United States. The Vietnam War was raging, the summer of love was in full bloom, and America had just recently entered the space race with fervor. While all of this was unfolding, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing millions of coins to support a rapidly growing economy. Now, what makes the 1967 quarter special? To understand that, we need to talk about a major change in U.S. coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a big decision to eliminate silver from most circulating coins. That meant dimes and quarters, which were once made of 90% silver, would now be minted using a clad composition. The 1967 quarter was part of that change. It's made of copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core. Unlike quarters from earlier decades, the 1967 quarter has no mint mark, not even a P for Philadelphia. That's because between 1965 and 1967, the U.S. Mint removed all mint marks to discourage hoarding during the coin shortage. So if you're holding a 1967 quarter and you can't find a mint mark, that's completely normal. But wait. Just because it doesn't have silver doesn't mean it isn't valuable. In fact, there are a number of unique varieties and rare errors that make the 1967 quarter highly collectible today. The design of the 1967 quarter features the familiar face of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, who originally created the design for the Washington quarter back in 1932. On the obverse, or front, you'll see the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date, 1967. The reverse features the majestic American bald eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it. Surrounding this patriotic imagery are the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. In terms of production, the U.S. Mint struck over 1.5 billion 1967 quarters. Yes, billion with a B. That's a massive number, and it means the coin is very common in circulated condition. But here's the twist. Certain varieties and error coins from that mintage are extremely rare. Let's talk about what can turn a 25-cent piece into a small fortune. While most 1967 quarters are worth face value, some error coins are worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Here's what to look for. Some 1967 quarters have noticeable doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or I in God We Trust. These coins are called double-die obverse errors. If you spot one of these under a magnifying glass or loupe, you could be looking at a coin worth $100 to $500, or even more in mint condition. Another valuable variety is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly centered during the minting process. The more off-center the strike, and the more visible the date is, the more valuable the coin. Some off-center 1967 quarters have sold for $250 to over $1,000 depending on the extent of the error. These are coins that were struck on planchets, blanks, that had a portion missing, often a curved clip. These clipped coins can bring $50 to several $100s, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. On very rare occasions, a 1967 quarter may have been struck on a dime planchet or another foreign coin blank. These errors are extremely rare and could sell for thousands. In 1967, instead of producing traditional proof coins, the U.S. Mint released something called a Special Mint Set, or SMS. These coins were specially made for collectors and have a higher quality strike and finish than regular coins. Some SMS quarters have a beautiful satin-like appearance and can sell for $10 to $50, but ultra-high-grade SMS coins graded MS68 or higher can sell for $500 to over $2,000, especially if they have cameo or deep cameo contrast. So now you're probably wondering, how can you tell if your 1967 quarter is valuable? Start with these simple steps. Inspect it closely under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for signs of doubling, off-center designs, or unusual marks. Check the coin's condition. Uncirculated or mint state coins, especially those graded MS65 or higher, will always fetch a premium. Weigh the coin. A standard clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly different, you might have a wrong planchet error. Send it for grading. If you think you have a special variety, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade can make all the difference in resale value. Now let's talk money. What is a 1967 quarter actually worth in today's market? Here in 2025, circulated examples, the kind you might find in your pocket or in a coin jar, are generally worth 25 cents to about $1 depending on where. Uncirculated coins, especially those with sharp details and no damage, can be worth $3 to $10. Special mint set coins in MS65 to MS67 can bring $15 to $100 or more. High-grade examples in MS68 plus with deep cameo contrast can sell for $500 to over $2,000, especially at auction. Rare error. Coins like off-center strikes, double dies, or wrong planchets can bring anywhere from $100 to $5,000 depending on the rarity and condition. Prices have gone up in recent years as more collectors enter the hobby and search for rare varieties. That means now is a great time to check your change, raid your coin jars, or visit a flea market or estate sale, because you never know what you might find. So there you have it. The 1967 United States quarter might not look like much at first glance, but it holds a rich history, exciting varieties, and serious potential value for collectors. Whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or you're a seasoned numismatist, the 1967 quarter is a fascinating coin to explore. Did you find one in your collection? Have a story about a valuable coin discovery? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome coin content, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on rare coins, valuable finds, and the hidden treasures in your pocket change. If you've ever emptied your pocket and glanced at a quarter, you might have wondered if it's just worth 25 cents, or possibly thousands of dollars. Today, we're zooming in on one specific coin, the 1980 United States quarter dollar. That's right, a coin you might have right now could be worth a small fortune, and you don't even know it yet. So stick with me, because you do not want to miss the secrets, the history, the rare errors, and the current market value of this incredible piece of American currency. Let's get started. The year was 1980. The United States was facing rising inflation. Ronald Reagan was challenging Jimmy Carter for the presidency, and the Cold War tensions were thick in the air. Amidst all of this, the United States Mint continued its job of churning out coins for everyday commerce, and in 1980, it struck millions of quarter-dollar coins, also known as Washington quarters. Now, let's rewind a bit. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Its original design was by John Flanagan, and it featured the classic bust of George Washington on the obverse side, that's the front, and on the reverse, it depicted a bold, majestic eagle with outstretched wings. By 1980. This design was still in use. The obverse of the 1980 quarter features Washington's profile facing left, with the inscriptions Liberty, the phrase In God We Trust, and of course, the mint year, 1980. On the reverse side, you'll see the heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing strength and peace. In 1980, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 locations: Philadelphia, represented by no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small D; San Francisco, which produced proof coins marked with an S. Each mint created millions of coins. But what makes the 1980 quarter fascinating isn't just the numbers. It's the details, the condition, the strike, and yes, the rare errors. Here's where things get really exciting. While most 1980 quarters are worth face value, some rare errors and high-quality versions can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions and to collectors. Let's look at a few of the most valuable types. 1. Double die obverse. DDO. This error occurs when the coin is struck with a misaligned die, causing elements like the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust to appear doubled. If you spot one of these under a magnifying glass, congratulations, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. 2. Off-center strikes. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during striking, resulting in a coin that looks shifted or incomplete. The more off-center it is, especially if the date is still visible, the more it's worth. Values range from $50 to several hundred dollars. Point 3. Broad struck quarters. These coins are struck without the collar that shapes the edge, resulting in a wide, flat coin. These two can fetch serious cash from the right buyer. Point 4. Clip planchets. If the metal blank was improperly cut, the coin may have a missing crescent-shaped section. These are rare and can be valuable depending on the size and location of the clip. Point 5. Proof coins from San Francisco. These weren't made for circulation but for collectors. A 1980 S-proof coin in deep cameo condition can fetch a good price, especially in PR69 or PR70 grades. When it comes to coin collecting, condition can make or break value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, 70 being a perfect coin with no flaws visible even under magnification. So, a 1980 quarter in average circulated condition is probably just worth 25 cents. But one in mint state condition, say MS65 or higher, can be worth much more. Some 1980 D quarters in MS67 condition have sold for over $500 at auctions. And if you come across a nearly perfect example with an error, jackpot. The key here is luster, sharp detail, and no scratches. Even small things like bag marks from storage can affect value. If you think you've got something special, getting it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC is the best way to know for sure. Now you're probably wondering, what are these coins selling for today? Let's talk market value. As of 2025, the coin collecting market has been thriving. With inflation, economic uncertainty, and growing interest in tangible assets, coins are hotter than ever. On eBay, 1980 quarters with errors or high grades regularly sell for $50 to $300, and some exceptional examples exceed $1,000. The demand is especially high for error coins with strong visual appeal. High-grade examples certified by a top grading company. Quarters from rolls that have been untouched since 1980. Collectors are always on the lookout for something rare or unusual. So if you have a 1980 quarter that looks even a little off, it could be a hidden gem. So what should you do? First, go through your change jar, dresser drawers, and old piggy banks. Look closely at every 1980 quarter you find. Use a 10x magnifying glass to inspect for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual textures and cuts. Compare it with online guides or auction photos. If it looks pristine, has no wear, and shows a shiny surface with crisp edges and lettering, you might want to get it graded. Professional grading costs money, but it's often worth it for high-potential coins. So, what did we learn today? The 1980 United States quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. With the right combination of rarity, condition, and error, it could be a high-value collector's item hiding in plain sight. And in today's market, the demand is real. Start looking. Start checking. You never know, your next quarter could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history, the 1983 quarter dollar from the United States of America. Yes, that's right. A regular-looking coin that many people overlook every single day might actually be worth a fortune. If you've got one of these lying around or in your pocket change, you might be holding something far more valuable than 25 cents. So, buckle up, because we're going to explore the origin, historical context, special features, errors, and most importantly, the current market value of this iconic coin. Stay tuned until the end, because you might just find out that you're sitting on a small treasure. Let's begin with the history. The 1983 Washington quarter was minted during a period of economic transition in the United States. The coin itself is part of the Washington quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse features a portrait of Washington designed by John Flanagan, and that design was used for decades before being modified in later years. Now, the year 1983 is particularly interesting. Why? Because there were no uncirculated mint sets issued in 1982 or 1983. That's a big deal. Usually, collectors could purchase special mint sets with coins that had never been circulated. But due to budget cuts and economic issues, the U.S. Mint suspended these sets for 2 years. What does that mean? It means that almost every 1983 quarter in existence came from circulation. In other words, it has wear, scratches, nicks, the typical signs of use. That scarcity of high-quality examples has made 1983 quarters incredibly attractive to collectors. Let's talk about the coin itself. The 1983 Washington quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a weight of 5.67 grams. It's composed of a clad sandwich, a pure copper core bonded between two outer layers of copper nickel. This is known as the cupronickel clad composition. On the obverse, we see the famous image of George Washington, facing left. Above his head is the word liberty, to the left is the phrase, "In God we trust," and below, the year 1983. On the reverse, we have an eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows and sitting on a pair of olive branches. At the top is the inscription, United States of America, and just below that, the motto, E pluribus unum. And of course, at the bottom is the denomination, quarter dollar. There were two main mint marks for the 1983 quarter: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark. This is where it gets exciting. There are several rare varieties and errors that make the 1983 quarter far more valuable than face value. 1983 P quarter with die clash or double die reverse. Some 1983 P quarters show strong doubling on the reverse, especially on the lettering like E pluribus unum or the eagle's wings and arrows. This type of error is called a double die, and collectors go absolutely wild for it. 1983 P spitting eagle error. One of the most famous varieties is the so-called spitting eagle error. This variety gets its name from a die gouge that appears like a line extending from the eagle's beak. It literally looks like the eagle is spitting. These can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on the coin's condition. Off-center strikes and clipped planchets. Off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned during minting, and clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing, are also highly collectible. Some examples from 1983 have been found with dramatic off-center errors that fetch upwards of $500 or more. If you think you've got a 1983 quarter worth big money, condition is everything. Coins are graded from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS 70. A 1983 quarter in circulated condition, say fine, F12, to very fine, VF 20, is usually worth just face value. But here's the kicker. A 1983 P quarter in mint state 65 or higher can be worth $200 to $500 or more. And if you've got a certified example graded by PCGS or NGC, especially with an error like the spitting eagle or double die, the value can climb into the thousands of dollars. As of 2025, here's what the 1983 quarter is selling for. Average circulated condition, 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated MS, 60 to MS 63, $20 to $50. Mint state MS 65 and higher, $150 to $500 plus. 1983 P spitting eagle error, MS 65, $300 to $1,000 plus. Major errors, off center, double die, clip planchet $100 to $2,000 depending on severity. And grade. Some of these coins have sold at auction for shockingly high prices. A top-grade 1983 P quarter with the spitting eagle error sold for nearly $2,000 at auction in recent years. That's 8,000 times its face value. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1983 quarter? Check your pocket change. It's still possible to find one in circulation. Look closely at the details under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for strong luster, no scratches, and sharp design features. If you spot any doubling, off-center strikes, or the famous spitting eagle gouge, set that coin aside immediately. If you think you've got a winner, consider sending it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Getting your coin professionally graded and slabbed will not only protect it, but also dramatically increase its resale value. Then, you can list it on platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, or even sell directly to collectors and dealers. The 1983 quarter is a fantastic example of how even a coin that looks common can hold hidden value. Because of the unique circumstances surrounding its production, the lack of mint sets, the scarcity of high-grade examples, and the existence of valuable error varieties. This coin is a true hidden gem in the world of coin collecting. So next time you get change from a store, take a moment to flip through those quarters. That small silver-colored coin might just be your next payday. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe for more coin facts and money-making coin hunts, and drop a comment below if you have a 1983 quarter or want me to cover another year or coin in a future video. Have you ever taken a moment to really look at the change in your pocket? That simple quarter you just used to feed the parking meter or toss into a vending machine might be worth far more than 25 cents. And today, we're diving deep into a specific coin that might just surprise you. The 1989 United States quarter dollar. That's right. This isn't just any coin. The 1989 quarter is more than a piece of metal. It carries a story, a legacy, and in some cases, a pretty hefty price tag. Some collectors are paying hundreds, even thousands, for rare versions of this seemingly ordinary coin. So sit back, relax, and prepare to look at your pocket change a little differently. Because today, we're uncovering the hidden history, value, and secrets of the 1989 United States quarter. Let's begin with the basics. The quarter dollar coin minted in 1989 is part of the Washington Quarter series. This iconic design has been in circulation since 1932, originally created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse of the coin features the left-facing profile of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, a design that stayed consistent for decades until the state quarters program began in 1999. But the 1989 quarter isn't just part of any year. It's a part of a fascinating transitional era in U.S. coinage. It came at a time when America was closing out the 1980s, a decade of political change, cultural shifts, and economic evolution. 1989 quarters were struck at two main U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. You can tell which mint your coin came from by looking just to the right of Washington's ponytail. A small P means it came from Philadelphia, while a D indicates the Denver Mint. Now here's the part that gets exciting. While most of these coins were made in the hundreds of millions, yes, over 512 million from Philadelphia and about 896 million from Denver, not all quarters are created equal. And that's where rarity, condition, and collector demand start to make things really interesting. Let's talk about value. A standard circulated 1989 quarter is worth its face value, 25 cents. That's if it's been through the laundry, rubbed through wallets, dropped in car cup holders. But if you happen to have a quarter that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one graded by professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC, the value can rise significantly. In MS 65 graded 1989 P or 1989 D quarter, meaning it's in gem uncirculated condition with strong luster and minimal marks, can fetch between $10 to $30. And that's just for the typical uncirculated example. But we're just getting started. Now, this is where it gets juicy. Error coins. Error coins are the holy grail for collectors. These are coins that were misstruck at the mint, and because they're rare, they can be incredibly valuable. For the 1989 quarter, there are a few error varieties that are especially sought after. Take the off-center strike, for example, where the design is misaligned and part of it is missing. Depending on how far off-center the strike is and how visible the date is, these coins can be worth anywhere from $50 to over $250. Then there are double die errors, where parts of the design appear to be doubled. Imagine seeing two outlines of the lettering or parts of Washington's face looking slightly shadowed. That's a double die, and collectors love them. If you find a 1989 quarter with strong doubling on the obverse or reverse, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds. Another highly desirable error is the clad layer missing error. These quarters are normally made from a copper core with a nickel outer layer. Sometimes, one of those layers is missing, giving the coin a unique appearance, often coppery red on one side. These are rare and can sell for over $500 or more, depending on condition and visibility. In recent auctions, collectors have paid surprising amounts for high-grade or error 1989 quarters. In 2023, a 1989 D quarter in MS 67 condition sold for over $400. And that's not even an error, just a nearly flawless example. The key is the rarity of condition. At that level, few coins survive without any marks, scratches, or dullness. But what about right now? Today's market. As of 2025, collectors are still hunting for top-tier 1989 quarters. Prices are stable, and in some cases, even rising. The market for classic Washington quarters is strong, especially as younger collectors enter the scene and start valuing coins from the 1980s and 1990s that older generations may have overlooked. So how do you know if your 1989 quarter is worth big money? Here's what to look for. First, check the mint mark. Both the P and D versions can be valuable in high condition. Second, look at the condition. If it's shiny, with no scratches, consider getting it graded. Third, examine it closely for errors. Use a magnifying glass. Are the letters doubled? Does anything look off-center? Is one side a strange color? And finally, research recent sales or talk to a reputable coin dealer. Don't just assume your coin is common. It might be hiding some serious value. So, the next time you come across a quarter, don't be so quick to spend it. That little coin from 1989 might just be worth a small fortune. Whether you're a casual collector or just someone curious about the treasures hiding in everyday life, there's magic in these metal discs. They tell stories, they hold history, and sometimes they hold more value than you ever imagined. Make sure to like this video if you learned something new, and subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, collectibles, and the stories behind them. Have a 1989 quarter in your collection? Drop a comment below and tell us what you found. You never know, your pocket change might just be famous. Hold on to your change, because that 1998 quarter sitting in your drawer might just be worth more than a tank of gas. Believe it or not, a simple coin from the late 90s, yes, we're talking about the 1998 United States quarter dollar, could be hiding a small fortune in your pocket. But how is it possible? What makes a 25-cent piece from over 2 decades ago worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today? Stick with me, because we're about to dive deep into the history, hidden errors, collector demand, and the explosive market value of the 1998 Washington to understand why the 1998 quarter holds any special significance. We've got to go back in time. The 1998 United States quarter features the image of George Washington on the obverse, or front side, a design originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of our first president. By 1998, this design had been in circulation for over 65 years with only slight tweaks. But here's the kicker. 1998 was the final year of the traditional Washington quarter before the United States Mint launched its ambitious 50-state quarters program in 1999. This means that the 1998 quarter marks the end of an era. It's the last of the old guard, the final coin before a major national redesign. And for collectors, anything marking a historical transition is worth a second look. Combine that with minting errors, variations, and low population gems, and suddenly, you've got a coin that can set auction rooms on fire. Now, before you rush to check your coin jar, let's break down where these 1998 quarters came from. 3 mints produced them. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, the Denver Mint, marked with a D, and the San Francisco Mint, which produced proof coins marked with an S. The P and D coins were meant for everyday circulation, while the S Mint produced high-quality proofs, usually sold in sets to collectors. Here's why this matters. The value of your quarter depends not only on its condition but where it was minted. The San Francisco proofs, especially those made with silver, are considered more desirable, particularly if they remain in pristine condition. Some of these coins, still in their original government packaging, can command impressive prices. But here's where things get really interesting. What turns a regular 25-cent coin into a high-value collector's item? The answer lies in errors and variations. During the minting process, imperfections sometimes occur, and believe it or not, these mistakes can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Double dies. These occur when the die imprints the design onto the coin twice, slightly offset. If your 1998 quarter shows doubled letters, numbers, or details in George Washington's hair or the eagle's feathers, cha-ching, off-center strikes. These quirky errors happen when the coin isn't properly aligned during striking. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin. Clipped planchets. If part of your coin appears cut off or missing in a crescent shape, congratulations, it might be a clipped planchet, and collectors love these oddballs. Silver planchet error. Now, this is extremely rare, but a few 1998 quarters are believed to have been mistakenly struck on silver blanks intended for proof coins. These are practically unicorns, but if authenticated, they can fetch thousands. Condition is everything. A coin's value can change drastically based on its grade, which refers to its state of preservation. From about good to the pristine mint state levels, every tiny scratch or blemish counts. Grading services like PCGS or NGC professionally certify coins, and a 1998 quarter graded at MS 67 or higher can be worth 10 to 20 times face value, sometimes even more if it's an error coin. A 1998 D quarter in MS-68 condition, with no flaws visible under magnification, once sold for over $400. Not bad for something that originally bought a gumball. So, what's the 1998 quarter worth today? Well, here's a snapshot of the current market. Circulated P and D quarters typically go for face value, but hold onto them for future appreciation. Uncirculated coins can bring in $5 to $25 depending on grade. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially those still sealed, range from $10 to $50. Rare error coins like double dies or silver planchet strikes. These have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in top condition. Remember, prices can vary depending on the platform: eBay, heritage auctions, great collections, and buyer interest. Coins with PCGS or NGC certification almost always bring higher premiums. Now that you know what to look for, here's what I recommend. Grab a magnifying glass and check those 1998 quarters. Look for mint marks, strange patterns, and overall condition. If something looks odd, get a second opinion, visit a coin dealer, or better yet, submit it to a grading service. That unassuming quarter in your pocket might just be your next payday. And remember, every rare coin ever discovered was once just ordinary change in someone's pocket. Yours could be next. If you found this video valuable, smash that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden gem. Drop a comment below and tell me what rare coins you found. And hey, don't forget to check your change.